How to help your narcissistic partner to heal.
I know the advice to immediately leave and detach from a narcissist is everywhere these days. And I fully understand why narcissists can drain your soul dry with their manipulation, blame shifting, and complete lack of accountability. Their disorder makes having a healthy, mutually fulfilling relationship seem virtually impossible. However, I want to offer a counter perspective, one that says healing narcissistic relationships is possible in many cases with proper support and boundaries. I have seen miracles happen firsthand when both partners commit to the hard work of counseling and personal growth. Lives once shattered transform into the loving connections every human craves. Before going further, I want to recognize that not everyone is in a position to help a narcissistic partner heal. If you have your own unresolved childhood wounds or recent trauma, it may be wise to choose self-preservation over attempting rescue. So instead, you should watch my other video,
Choosing self-preservation over narcissistic rescue,
which dives deeper for those needing to walk away. You'll find the link in the video description. Now, if you feel reasonably emotionally equipped and willing to support therapeutic change, let's continue exploring that pathway. Despite the fog and uncertainty ahead, answers may emerge to help your narcissistic partner heal. So before you completely write off your narcissistic partner as a hopeless cause, please hear me out. I urge you to have compassion for their childhood wounds that shaped their disorder. Have empathy for the fact that beneath the bravado and cruelty lies a scared, hurting child still crying out for healthy bonds. See if there is any willingness for self-reflection and change. Present therapeutic solutions focused on better understanding their behaviors versus attacking their character. Make it clear you cannot tolerate status quo dysfunction anymore, but you're open to reconciling if they begin counseling immediately. If no effort towards growth occurs even after clearly spelling out your needs and relationship deal breakers, then you have your answer. You know you must let go instead of waiting for the fairy tale ending that will never come. But so often in my practice, simply being at the brink awakens people from their dysfunction. They finally get it when the threat of losing their cherished partner opens their eyes. Miracles unfold when the narcissist crashes into their rock bottom, along with clear steps for redemption. The key is finding an experienced therapist who won't shame them, but guide them into cultivating self-awareness. One who helps them process suppressed emotions safely instead of lashing them out. With time and commitment, ingrained narcissistic walls do crack and genuineness emerges. It's a long, messy road, though filled with backward slides, old wound triggers, and testing your resolve. Your locations may shift from together to apart and back again. Ultimatums and deal-breaker deadlines must stick. If too much resistance persists without forward movement, at some point you must choose self-preservation. Here are common questions that arise when considering whether to stay or go.
Won't giving them another chance just enable them?
It's enabling only if no concrete changes occur long-term. You must require counseling plus clear behavioral improvements that rebuild trust and intimacy. Enablement means tolerating the same hurtful patterns minus accountability. True change necessitates they probe their wounding, take responsibility, and apply new relational tools.
But can a narcissist really change since it's a personality disorder?
Personality disorders exist on a spectrum, and many highly motivated narcissists can move towards health with proper healing modalities. The latest research shows DBT, CBT, and schema therapy can transform ingrained narcissistic traits when applied diligently.
Aren't you giving false hope, though, to partners who should just leave?
I understand this perspective, but I have witnessed depth healing turn seemingly hopeless situations completely around over my decades as a therapist. Humans carry enormous potential for positive change when guided skillfully. Instead of shamed, my hope is to inspire more practitioners to skillfully support narcissist-wounded patients versus perpetuating stigma.
But if they discard me abruptly, shouldn't I just detach forever for my own well-being?
Being suddenly abandoned causes enormous shock and withdrawal symptoms akin to drug addiction due to trauma bonding. In these cases, yes, strict no contact is vital to detox your system from its dependency. Long-term, if you still pine for reconciliation, clearly communicating your needs may catalyze their resurfacing. Then requirements for earned reconnection must stick for it to manifest healthfully.
How long should I give therapy before walking away if things don't markedly improve?
Every situation differs based on severity of wounds and willingness to grow. That said, after 6 months of intensive counseling with no accountability, decreased entitlement, or meaningful behavior changes, unhealthy patterns are likely too calcified to reverse. You must weigh whether more investment is throwing good money after bad.
If we reconcile and they relapse, how many chances is too many before I call it quits?
Relapses nearly always occur since change is not linear with ingrained behaviors. Review circumstances honestly to determine if true effort is underway versus empty promises, masking entitlement, and exploitation. If more than 3 major backslides happen over the first year, with no lasting progression between them, the disorder may be too rigid without deeper interventions.
How will I know if they are truly changing versus just telling me what I want to hear?
True change manifests in consistency between words and actions without you having to demand it. For example, are they showing up to therapy and sharing openly about progress without you begging them to? Have demeaning comments genuinely decreased versus temporarily halted to appease you? Do they willingly care about your needs now instead of only when consequences require it?
What are signs we should start marriage counseling versus my partner, first needing extensive individual therapy?
If high levels of contempt, chronic dishonesty, or verbal abuse exist currently, individual work must lay a foundation first. Marriage counseling fails unless the narcissist partner first builds self-awareness and reliable self-soothing skills via DBT. Lacking those, the narcissist mainly learns new manipulation tricks absent core change. In my practice, I have worked with couples across all ages and backgrounds, navigating these complex relational dynamics involving narcissistic traits. While always protecting confidentiality, I can share further composite examples from different chapters of life to illustrate pathways of healing. For instance, one younger couple in their 20s overcame narcissistic wounds early on through the help of parenting mentors. The narcissistic partner grew up lacking emotional mirrors and attentiveness, starving them of bonding and attachment. Through counseling, they bravely worked through these deficits and how they impacted their sense of worth and relationships. Simultaneously, workbooks and communication exercises unearthed the couple's mutual yearning for true intimacy beneath the dysfunctional patterns. As childhood wounds transformed into wisdom over time, they cultivated the maturity and listening skills to build an incredible life partnership together. On the other end of the spectrum, one couple in their late 60s decided to try reconciliation after years stuck in narcissistic loops. The narcissistic husband engaged in serial affairs and deceit to satisfy unmet ego needs, while the wife hid behind the role of soul martyr and victim. After nearly losing everything, they committed to the rigorous work of insight-oriented therapy. This involved the husband taking full accountability for the infidelity and secrecy rooted in low self-worth, and the wife learning to embody her worth outside of the scorned partner identity. As their defenses lowered with professional support, they rediscovered the friendship and passion that first drew them together 40 years prior. They now enjoy deeper intimacy and understanding than ever imaginable before doing their inner work. One case I remember, I guided one couple with a narcissistic partner through a separation period while intensive individual and couples counseling addressed core wounds and codependency traits respectively. During the 3 months living apart, the narcissistic partner reached depth breakthroughs regarding childhood attachment trauma and its impacts on current relational patterns. Simultaneously, the non-narcissistic partner established clearer boundaries and cultivated self-compassion with a support group. When the couple reunited, healthier communication and relating patterns organically unfolded without the former triangulation and possessive behaviors. They continue making forward progress 5 years later due to this comprehensive healing approach. Another composite example involves a narcissistic partner finally agreeing to chemotherapy after their partner moved towards divorce. The introspective healing journey revealed roots of emotional unavailability in past failed connections with caregivers. As these relational fears were processed safely with the therapist, vulnerability gradually emerged in the couple's dynamic. While the first year of rebuilding intimacy involved occasional painful setbacks, the consistent accountability and emotional risk-taking rewired ingrained defenses over time. Today, this couple serves as beacons of hope regarding transforming narcissistic walls many view as impossible to penetrate. Their willingness for self-reflection, apology, and forgiveness write an entirely different story. I shared these composite illustrations from my confidential case files to further shed light on the miracles I've witnessed firsthand. When narcissistic partners bravely lean into their wounds instead of acting them out destructively, emotional and spiritual breakthroughs abound through proper professional support. Broken patterns, once shattering families, can transform into lessons teaching wisdom, character, and greater love than before. While every situation differs, I hope considering these anecdotal examples expands your perspective on what may be possible with counseling guidance. If one direction appears the only viable path today, perhaps unexpected new trajectories exist that restore hope down the road. If you resonated with even some of my suggestions here today, I encourage you to deeply explore viable avenues of healing narcissistic dynamics before permanently walking away. You may discover, as I have, that miraculous redemption lies on the other side of darkness when we lead with compassion instead of judgment. However, you must honor your own well-being first always. Proceed with realistic expectations and firm boundaries so you don't lose yourself trying to save someone unwilling to reach for help. If you've truly given your all in good faith and their refusal to change continues harming you, choose self-preservation. For now, though, see if a path to reconciliation exists before closing the door completely. Some of the most beautiful relationships rise from properly supported ashes once fires of dysfunction and blindness burn out at last. I hope sharing my experience has provided some guidance if you are considering whether supporting your partner's healing is right for you. This journey requires great courage and discernment. If you resonate with wanting to explore this pathway further, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I offer private coaching for those committed to the rigorous work of compassionately unraveling narcissistic wounds as a couple. You can message me on WhatsApp, and we'll schedule an initial consultation session within 24 hours to discuss your situation. Having an objective professional perspective can help provide clarity amidst the uncertainty. I believe that with skilled support, compassion, and accountability, healing narcissistic relating patterns is possible. If you feel aligned to the vision of reconciliation and are willing to enforce firm boundaries, let's talk. Together, we can build relational freedom from ingrained narcissistic walls, one step at a time.